Yo, so guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to 10 disturbing interviews with killers, and it's from Watch Mojo. I apologize. I know, again, it's not everyone's favorite channel, but the topic interested me, and yeah, I just thought I'd react to it. If you want, it's like a reaction to this kind of thing, but maybe it's another channel, or maybe I can post it on my Patreon. It's like stuff like that, maybe series. I'm down for that. I've just watched the Dahmer thing on Netflix, and that's probably partially why I'm wanting to see this, because it's just crazy. I've just noticed he's got a Nazi sign on his head. Bro, it's crazy when you see the stuff that they do, man. Like, it's actually ridiculous how crazy some people are. I just don't get it. But yeah, we're gonna get into this reaction. Hopefully, going to enjoy. Like I said, suggest me some more reactions you want me to do. Links are in the description to my Patreon if you want to see that. But let's jump into this and see some of these sickos.
Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're taking a look at 10 disturbing interviews with killers.
You admit to being evil, Richard?
We are all evil in some form or another.
For this list, we're looking at instances where accused murderers chilled our bones with statements or body language during interviews. Did any of these moments freak you out? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. John Wayne Gacy.
See, I literally didn't know about this guy until I watched the Dahmer documentary, and he had that little moment in episode 10. And then I read into him. This guy, oh my day. I mean, these are all, like, you can't compare. They're all just absolutely fucking, just the worst of the worst. But this guy, he was such a, just, like, what the hell, man? Like, he was wearing a clown suit or whatever, but he, like, always went for, like, younger kids or whatever. It's just, everything about this guy was so wrong. Again, with all these people, but there's something about this specific guy that was just like, how have you been created? How is this monstrosity being created?
The Netflix documentary The John Wayne Gacy Tapes did a
I haven't watched it, but I should probably check it out.
lot to point out the notorious serial killer's sociopathic tendencies when it came to shifting blame for his accused crimes.
Shoelaces, huh? You're in trouble now.
Yeah, right.
Aren't you afraid sitting that close to me?
This wasn't the first time evidence to that end has come out, however, as documented by this piece from CBS News 2 Chicago back in 1992.
I don't believe in hitting children. I don't believe in spoiling a child either. My values are such that if you give enough love to
you're
children...
accused of murdering 33 kids, and you say you didn't believe in hitting.
Interviewer Walter Jacobson.
What the hell, man? How could you get to this point? Like, what? You're so delusional. You say all this stuff, but yet you've done all this stuff. He looks like such a wrong one as well. That's probably why I hated him even more. He fits the character.
And doesn't need to do much talking in his encounter with Gacy, as it quickly becomes clear that the former Pogo the Clown is trying his best to present alibi after alibi for his innocence.
Buckovich is not one that I killed, so I don't know nothing about him.
Gacy himself is composed for the most part, although there is a moment where he demonstrates his infamous rope trick with a shoelace that echoes the methodology of his horrible crimes.
And you just turn this, and I says, it causes a tourniquet. I said, that's the only knot I ever learned.
Precisely the kind of knot found on the ropes.
Number 9. Ted Bundy. Time can change many things about a person, including how they behave while being interviewed. The Ted Bundy featured in a 1977 jailhouse interview from KUTV News appears more in line with the suave yet cold-blooded reputation Bundy had among other notorious serial killers.
You feel that everything will turn out all right, that you are innocent. Do you still feel that?
Yeah, more than ever.
He smiles a lot during the piece and displays body language that appears relaxed and almost happy.
I'm not guilty. Does that include the time I stole a comic book when I was 5 years old?
Bundy keeps eye contact with his interview throughout most of their conversation, and it's easy to become lulled into a false sense of security, which was exactly Ted's intention.
If someone's crazy enough and nutty enough to do something like that, I can't stop them. There's nothing I can do.
Fast forward to the night before his execution, and we see a fearful and pensive Ted Bundy, a man seeking to shift blame for his crimes during his interview with Christian conservative evangelist James Dobson.
There are forces at loose in this country, particularly, again, this kind of violent pornography.
Number 8. Richard Ramirez.
You know what? It's kind of satisfying to see someone who's given so much pain to people and to the world, like, in their own sort of state of panic. You know, it's sort of like, it's just like it feels good, you know. It sort of makes you feel a little bit happy about the whole situation, like. But still, yeah. Obviously, you can't ever make up for what these people have done, but still, to see them just doing whatever, being worried, whatever, it's a small victory.
Ramirez. The Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, may be one of...
But this guy, what did he... Like, there was one on Netflix about him. I think I did see something to do with this guy, but I don't know what he'd done either. I don't know much about these serial killers, to be honest.
The most frightening serial killers of all time, not only due to the brutality of his crimes, but also the projected aura of what many perceive to be pure evil.
Yes, I am evil. Not 100%, but I am evil.
It's easy to see why during some of Ramirez's more notable interviews over the years, including one conducted with author Mike Watkis.
Serial killers do on a small scale what governments do on a large one. They are a product of the times, and these are bloodthirsty times.
Ramirez's somewhat tense responses to Watkis's questioning imply a coiled rage, an anger that's also exemplified by the Night Stalker's breathing as he seems to become annoyed with Watkis.
I'll tell you what, I gave up on love and happiness a long time ago.
Why?
I don't care to explain that. Let the quote stand for itself.
Ramirez is comparatively more relaxed during a piece with Inside Edition, although that interview also hammers home the Night Stalker's obsession with Satanism, evil, and the occult.
I believe in the evil in human nature. This is a wicked world, and in a wicked world, wicked people are born.
Number 7, Edmund Kemper. There's something truly bone-chilling about the matter-of-fact way in which the co-ed killer, Edmund Kemper, describes his past in the 1981 documentary The Killing of America.
Everything went towards killing him, and I didn't. But I'm saying, wow, it's uncanny. It was almost like it was meant to be that way, and I said, wow, this gotta stop.
Kemper's impressive intellect and well-spoken nature belie the brutality of a man who committed his first murder at the age of 15.
And if it had been in a
15? What the heck?
city, I would have been a mass murderer at age 15. I would have killed until they gunned me down. I wouldn't have been able to reason my way out of it.
The killer even makes a self-referential joke to his modus operandi of picking up hitchhikers by putting on a pair of glasses and asking the camera whether they would get into a car with him.
Now, would you get in the car with this man? Huh?
Kemper's mental state comes across as perpetually active, like a bubbling pot of water about to boil over, while the documentary's exploitative narration pushes the creep factor of this one over the top.
I am an American, and I killed Americans. I am a human being, and I killed human beings. And I did it in my society.
Number 6, Jeffrey Dahmer. There's no barely repressed rage within the demeanor of Jeffrey Dahmer as he discusses his history with interviewer Stone Phillips.
And I acted on my fantasies, and that's where everything went wrong.
Nor are...
See, bro, this guy, I've never seen once an interview to do with him, but after seeing that documentary, no, not the series, actually, because it wasn't a documentary. I don't know why I've just not been wanting to check him out, but you see this, he's such a creep, man. Sort of people on Twitter are like... not glorifying it, but I don't know, just, you know how people are, they'll act a certain way about it, forgetting that this is an actual serial killer. Bro, this man, you would not feel the same. It's probably because the actor or whatever, who've done a really good job, but this man just already just seems weird, man. He just seems so, like, messed up.
Are there any wild...
after 5 words or whatever.
Headline-grabbing theatrics. Instead, Dahmer's quiet and soft-spoken recounting of his horrible crimes lends the piece that much more power.
The only motive that there ever was to completely control a person that I found physically attractive.
There's the power of shock as he discusses the failed attempts at creating, quote, living zombies with the remains of his victims.
The killing wasn't the objective. I just wanted to have the person under my complete control.
There's also the power of how Dahmer's moments of shocking violence are undercut by the killer's regret for the decisions he made, and the futility of what seemed to be a date with infamy and destiny.
Once it happened the first time, it just seemed like it had control of my life from there on in.
Number 5, Gary Ridgway. Gary
God
Ridgway,
damn.
aka the Green River Killer, was one of the most prolific of all American serial murderers.
So I whipped out my ID, and with my ID would be I put my finger over my driver's license to hide my name.
Ridgway was also perhaps one of the most unrepentant, a sentiment that's placed front and center during any of his interviews.
A picture of my son. They would know I was probably a normal person.
Take, for example, one he did with FBI psychopathy profiler Mary Ellen O'Toole, where he very calmly describes how he would gain the trust of his victims.
The only thing that would be better than that would be to have your son in the car with you. That would be a incredible ruse.
That happened once.
O'Toole manages to get Ridgway talking in depth about his past, his upbringing, and the dozens of victims attributed to the Green River Killer's rampage. Number 4, Charles Manson.
Charles Manson? So this is Charles. I know the name, but I've never seen his face. I don't know how I knew his name because I've never seen anything to do with him. Like, if you were to ask me who Charles Manson was, I would have never assumed he was a killer. I would have thought he was like a musician or something. I'm not gonna lie, but from the intro, this guy looks like he was looking crazy. He's got the Nazi logo. The way he was talking, he seems proud of what he's done.
There has been a wealth of interview footage of Charles Manson released over the years, much of which can be used as evidence for the man's often unhinged persona.
Do you feel blame? Are you mad? Do you feel like
And there's a lot of that here from this 1987 interview with Today correspondent Heidi Schulman.
I wouldn't do anything that I felt guilty about.
You don't feel guilty at all?
There's no need to feel guilty. I haven't done anything I'm ashamed of.
However, there's also this intent to shatter the myth of Manson as a leader, and this is aided by the visual of Manson's scattershot presence during the interview.
Maybe I should have killed 400 or 500 people, then I would have felt better. Then when I felt like I really offered society something.
Although the occasionally violent outbursts by Manson have been well documented in this piece, it's the more soft-spoken sound bites that reveal more about the man's own admitted failures and shortcomings.
My awareness and my consciousness is not the same as somebody that goes to school and has a mom and dad. See, not having parents have left me in another dimension, so to say.
Number 3, Otis Toole.
I like to say a whole city burned down.
This interview with Otis Toole is the stuff of nightmares. There are a lot of reasons for this too, not the least of which is Toole's explosive bursts of laughter and absolutely chilling smile.
What do you prefer in life? Sex or fire? Well, I like both.
Additionally, there's the explicit nature of how Toole describes his past crimes, and how he and former associate and fellow killer Henry Lee Lucas seemed to easily disassociate the value of human life.
It's just like butchering a hog instead of a cow. Ain't no difference.
The grainy and blown-out AV quality of this interview footage only seems to add to the feeling of grime and filth left over by Toole's gleeful accounts and delivery.
Ain't nothing to it. It's like drinking a cup of coffee, smoking cigarette.
Bro, I can't hear what he's saying. I literally just hear him say drinking something and smoking a cigarette. But throughout his whole time, the graininess, I literally can't hear what he's saying.
Get into the habit, you do it more and more.
Number 2, Issei Sagawa.
This is the... I don't want to get it wrong. Is this the cannibal guy? He's like wrote a book and stuff, hasn't he?
たまたまそれが肉屋さんの旦那さんと奥さんで太って愉快なご主人でしたけど、動物の解体の仕方とか肉の切り方とか詳しく教えてくれました。
Unlike the majority of our other entries, Issei Sagawa isn't technically a serial killer. However, this interview footage from Vice is too disturbing not to make our list.
でも彼のおかげで、ロンダにエッチな気持ちっていうかセクシー
Sagawa's history and dark deeds are detailed in the documentary, while Issei himself describes the premeditated shooting and devouring of his classmate René Hautefeld while he was living and studying in France.
読んで彼女読んだけどどうしてもやっぱり普通に話してる時はニコニコして話してて。
Sagawa's obsessions are also detailed in the piece, as well as the legal loopholes that allowed the killer to escape prison time for his actions. Sagawa's quiet and fragile demeanor undercuts his words, all spoken in equally hushed and inoffensive tones. It is a frankly horrifying and unbelievable story.
男じゃなくて綺麗な女性に殺されたい。まあもちろんそれはファンタジーです。
Before we continue,
What the hell did he just say? It's fantasy. What the fuck? Bro's been watching too much anime, man. I'm joking. That's gonna annoy people. I'm joking, but god damn.
To our channel and ring the bell to get notified of all of them if you're on your phone. Number 1. Aileen Wuornos. This interview with Aileen Wuornos on the eve of her execution is disturbing for a number of reasons.
I'm okay. I'm okay. God is going to be there. Jesus Christ is going to be there. All the angels and everything.
Not for you. Not for you. I'm telling you that for now. Not for you, you delusional fuck, bro. You've done all what you're doing and you think there's going to be good coming from this. Get out, man.
Starters, there are the crimes for which Wuornos was convicted, but there are also the stories Aileen tells about her treatment in prison.
They had the intercom on in the room, and they kept lying that it wasn't on, and they were using sonic pressure on my head since 1997.
Her accusations of sonic torment and food tampering speak to her paranoia and mental state during this time.
And then one day I didn't wash my food off, and I was sick for 3 weeks, almost died.
A state that gradually reaches a fever pitch during the interview.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I lost my life because of it. Couldn't even get a fair trial.
Wuornos' face as she directly addresses the camera is chilling, and the
Bro, she just looks like she's on 10 grams of coke. Jesus Christ.
Audience can only stare back into her eyes as the condemned killer accuses society of, quote,
Bro, why is she doing this? She looks like a flipping... She looks like she's from the Grinch. Wait, let me just get the Grinch. Maybe I'm talking out my ass. The Grinch humans. Because they've got like... Well, that's not a good picture, is it? She reminds me of this guy. Oh, she's literally this guy, man. Oh, what an absolute joker.
Railroading and, quote, sabotage.
2019, a rock's supposed to hit you anyhow. You're all going to get nuked.
Do you agree with our picks?
Damn. Well, you are one sicko. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this reaction. Pretty dark, but I mean, it is what it is. And I mean, like I said at the start, if you want me to do more reactions to this kind of stuff, let me know in the comments. I'll be sure to do so. But yeah, until next time, like, subscribe. Peace.